Hi there, it's Diane. Welcome to my basement. Today we're going to be learning about bar graphs and broken line graphs. So you can join me if you're working in your workbook. We're on page 8. Bar graphs and broken line graphs provide visual representation of data gathered from a survey. So here we have a visual representation, just meaning we can use our eyes to see the numbers and the data that we collected, or the information that we collected. A broken line graph is often used to present data that varies over time, by years, months, or hours, for example. So this is a broken line graph, and you can see that it goes from December all the way to April. These two types of diagrams or graphs include a title, number of books on superheroes in the library. This title is the number of books on superheroes bought from December to April. They also have titles on their vertical axes and their horizontal axes, which organizes the data for us. Their markers are evenly spaced. So here we have 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. The numbers go up evenly, meaning by one step each time. Also on our bar graph. And we have even bars, right? You don't have two bars close together and then a huge gap and then another bar. They're evenly spaced. They visually look really nice. For the bar graph, the bars they're well defined, so we know that this bar says novels, history books, and comic books. And for the broken line graph, the points, they connect them, just so it looks really nice. Are you ready to try some broken line graphs and some bar graphs? Just look at page 9. So 9, we are going to try to make a bar graph. Let's practice what we've learned. Victor works in a pet shop. Yay, Victor! Here are the dog accessories that customers have bought this week. We have our title, Dog Accessories Purchased During the Week. We also know that the accessories he sold to the people and that were bought were leashes, brushes, toys, collars, bowls. Then we know the quantity, which is the number. So there were 40 leashes bought, 20 brushes bought, 15 toys bought, 35 collars bought, and 5 bowls that were bought or purchased, right? Those words are synonyms. So where do we start? That's a lot of information. How do we make our bar graph? The very first thing I would do is the title. What is all this about? Dog accessories purchased during the week. The first thing you're going to say is, do I have to write all of that? Yes, you have to write all of that. Go ahead and fill out the title. This bar graph is about dog accessories purchased during the week. If you need, I can pause the video. If not, let's continue. So now I know the title of my bar graph. I need to know the titles of my X and Y axis. Now here's the key. The key is that your X-axis is going to be the accessories or the items that stay constant. They don't change. So this week he could sell 40 leashes, but next week the number could change. He could sell only 5 leashes. So we know that the leashes, brushes, toys, collars, and bowls are going to be what he sells every week. So all you have to do is look at the title of your column. It's going to say accessories, and you can put that here as your X-axis. Your y-axis is where you're going to have your numbers because they can change time after time. So quantity is going to be the label of our y-axis. Quantity, it just means the number. So you should have these three things written. Dog accessories purchased during the week, the title of your bar graph, the title of your x-axis, accessories, and the title of your y-axis, quantity. You can also fill out the accessories. So you're going to evenly space out your words, leashes, brushes, toys, collars, and bowls. You get that information right from our chart. Now here's probably going to be the most difficult part of completing your bar graph, and that's knowing the numbers you need to write on your y-axis. So we have the numbers 5, 35, 15, 20, 40. The first thing I do is I look at my lowest number. Here it's going to be 5, and my highest number. Here it's going to be 40. What I mean by that is the lowest value number and the highest value of the number. Now, remember when we did the Cartesian plane, we always had 0, 0? When I start my bar graph, in grade 4, we usually start with a 0. So if I have nothing of that, then I don't need a bar. So we start with 0. You can do this little thing where you put 2 little lines and it just means you skip. But for now, let's start with 0. Then I have to look. Okay, I saw I needed a 5 and my highest number was 40. I'm going to pretend I'm not going to write it down. I'm going to use my head, right? And I'm going to pretend like I'm going to count by 5 just to see if they fit in my bar graph. So I'm going to go 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40. Okay, so I know that they fit. If they didn't fit, then maybe you would have to count by tens, and you know that 5 is half of 10, so you would fill in half a bar, but that's really difficult. I know that I can count by 5s and they're all going to fit. So go ahead and label your y-axis by 5, starting with 0 because 0 is the very bottom. The first line will be 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40. Once you have that, I think you're ready to begin. So now we're just filling out the data. Leashes, we have the quantity of 40. So I like to use rulers to make my straight lines. So you go to leashes and you go up to 40, and that's where you're going to draw your bar. Then you're going to look at brushes. You're going to use your chart. It says 20. And you're only going to go up to the number 20. Make sure you're evenly spaced. Make it look nice and visual. Take your time. I like to use my pencil and tilt it a little bit when I'm shading in. If you use a marker or highlighter, it might go through your workbook and it could draw on the other page. So be careful. For toys, it says 15. Do you see that? So I'm going to go up to 15. You can draw your bar at 15. Collars, 35. Use your ruler, go up to 35, draw your line. It'll look nice and neat like that. And then for bowls, we have 5. So when you're finished, your bar graph should look very similar to this. And now I can visually see that the leashes were the most bought, the bowls were the least bought, and it's much easier to understand than seeing a chart of just numbers. It's just very visual. People like that. Okay. So, take your time, complete this. When you're ready, let's try a broken line graph. Just turn your workbook to page 11. On page 11 it says, the students of Riverbend School built a bird feeder. During the school year, they noted the number of bird species that visited it. So we have the number of bird species that visited the feeder. So they gave that to us already. Then it says the months: September, October, November, December, January, February, March, April, May, and June. They filled out the months along the bottom, the x-axis. Then they noted the number of species they saw each month. So you start with the lowest number. I see 4, and then the highest value number is 10. So I need space for a 4 and a 10. So they started at 0, and they counted up by 1 each time. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. Great. Then they plotted the points. When I did mine, I used a ruler, my handy dandy ruler, and I went, September has 5. So I went like this so I could see the September and the 5, and I put a little dot. Then it says October 4. I moved my ruler down and I put a little dot. November 4, I went over, same number, put a little dot. December 6, I moved my ruler up, December 6, and I put a little dot. January 5, moved my ruler down, January 5, February 5, March 8, ooh, slid it all the way up to 8, April 10, moved my ruler up, put a dot for 10, May was 9, put a dot for 9, and June was 6. Move my ruler down, put a little dot for 6. Once you have your dots, it's important that you connect your dots. So you draw your little lines. I would do it dot by dot. Don't just go wee. No. Go line by line. You can still say wee. Wee. Like you're riding a roller coaster. Woo. Ah. 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 Oh no. Yay. There you go. And when you're done, you should have a beautiful representation of the number of bird species that visited the feeder over the time of September to June. So not a full year. I guess they migrate in the winter. But you'll see cardinals and blue jays, yellow finches, maybe Canadian geese, some egrets, those are huge birds, some crows. I wonder what type of birds you have in your backyard. Some pigeons, maybe, doves. Okay, that's a broken line graph. I want to do something fun now. I would like to make a graph. You're going to need a die. What's a die? So if you have two of these, it's called they're called dice, but with just one, it's called a die. So go ahead and find a die in your house or in your classroom. I'll give you one. And what we're going to do is we are going to see the number. It would help if I turned it properly. You're going to see the number that appears most often when you roll your die 10 times. You will need to fill out the title. So what's our title? What are we doing? What's this all going to be about? The number what that appears, or rolling the number that, I'm trying to make it short for you, because number that appears, APPEARS, that appears when rolling, okay, these are a lot of words, I know, when rolling a die. Number that appears when rolling a die. What is, let's do, okay, I told you we'd roll 10 times. We start with 0. We go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Because I could have 10. I could roll 10 times and every time get the same number. So this is going to be our quantity. Q-U-A-N-I-T-Y. Quantity. Did I spell that properly? I always second guess myself. Q-U-A-N-T. I didn't spell it right. Q-U-A-N-T-I-T-Y. That makes more sense. Thanks for letting me know I misspelt it. It's okay to make mistakes. Quantity. What's going to go along the x-axis? These are going to be the dots that appear, or the number that appears. Let's do dots. Dots that appear, or the dots, yeah, that appear. This is a title, so I think I'll capitalize my T. Dots that appear. So let's do the dots. Well, can I have 0 dots? No, I need at least 1, right? So we'll put the 1 dot that appears. You can have 2. That could appear. Could I have a 3? Yeah. 3 could appear. What about 4? Could a 4 appear for everyone? Yes. If everyone rolled our die, a 4 could appear. Could it appear for everyone if a 5 appeared? Yes. A 5 could show up, right? What about a 6? Could we all get a 6? Yes. We could all get a 6. What's going to change is our y-axis. So maybe I could have only 2 1s, but the person next to me could have 5 1s. That's why we put 0 through 10 on the y-axis. So let's roll our die 10 times. Let's see what we get. Ooh, come on, number 3. Ah, it's a 6. Okay, so I have a 6. So I'm up to 1 for my 6. I'm just going to do it like this because I'm going to fill it out later. Another 6. What's going on? I'm up to 2. A 4. So my 4 is 1 time. Let's roll. 5 one time. High numbers. Another 6? I was not expecting this. Okay, this has to be a 1, 2, or 3. A 4? This is fun. I hope you're having just as much fun as me. 5? So how many times have I rolled? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I need to roll 3 more times. This is crazy. A 4? Alright. 2 more times. A 5? One more time. Who thinks it's going to be a 1, a 2, or a 3? Raise your hand. Who thinks it's going to be a 4, 5, or 6? Raise your hands. Okay, let's see. I'm going to go for, oh boy, I'm going to say 6 because that was the first one I rolled. Okay, watch. Ah, it's a 4! Okay, wow. I feel bad for my 1, 2, and 3. So now I'm going to fill out my chart. I'm going to evenly space them out. And I'm going to use my ruler. I wonder if anyone got the same that I got. So I had 1, 2, 3, 4 4s, 3 5s, and 3 6s. That's super cool. I didn't think that would happen. Gonna fill that out. My 5s. And then my 6s. Well, that was a lot of fun. You can do this several times. It doesn't have to be just 10 times. You can do it 20 times. What you can also do is write down on a chart the numbers so that you'll know your y-axis, what numbers you have to go. So you can make a chart first and then fill out your bar graph. Well, that was so much fun. I hope you enjoyed today's lesson. And I will see you next time. Stay curious and enjoy your day.